Network.
The airing of this program by this station is not an endorsement or recommendation by the station of the products or services discussed in the program. The station does not guarantee the results of any investments made by a listener to this program.
This is The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary is a San Diego financial solutions attorney, protecting people like you. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. Now, here's Gary.
Hello, welcome to The Word on Wealth. Have you, do you know what a fiduciary is? You hear people talk about financial situations, or even like with estate planning, like with trusts and that, and you hear about certain people are fiduciaries. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and just a regular person, maybe a regular professional? We're going to talk about that with Anthony, because today, you know, is Thursday, and here on The Word on Wealth, today is the day we really do talk about wealth, and that is going to be Anthony Wright. He's our financial professional, our expert on The Word on Wealth every week on Thursday. So it's always good to have him along with us. Today is his day, so we're super excited about that. The other question that Anthony is here to answer for us is basically kind of, he's going to give us a market report on what we should be looking out for. As the Fed came out and made some comment that, you know, we're not going to raise rates, but we may in the future. And they always kind of have that thing hanging over your head. We're going to have Anthony explain to us what difference that will make in the market, because that's always interesting. Now, for those of you that have your money in, you know, stocks and bonds or mutual funds and kind of conventional investments, we're going to talk about how, you know, is that a good thing? Is that where you should be? Should you be looking at other things? And I want to have Anthony outline for us like a portfolio on what he would recommend just in basics, like of an overall portfolio. Should we have stocks? Should we have bonds? Should we have mutual funds? Should we be in foreign currency? Should we be in beans or oil or gold, actually metals in our hands or metals online?
Anthony's on
cryptocurrency. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be able to answer today. So for you to have your specific questions answered, you need to give us a call at 888-344-1170. Anthony, it's Thursday. Welcome to the show. So good to have you on, brother. How you doing?
Hey, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Things going here and there. And I know you pretty much just hang out, sit on your porch and don't know what to do with yourself. But I thought we'd occupy a half hour of your time today. Oh my gosh. Anthony, I'm gonna so much
stick
going
to
on.
what I told you. That you need to be here with a couple of jet skis, and we need to be on the water.
I know. It's funny because Anthony and I are working on some financial transactions together. It's been fun. It was kind of like I messaged him yesterday. I said, "Wow, we are in the same boat." And he goes, "I wish those boats were on my lake and it was a jet ski, not the same boat, business wise." So anyway,
that's right.
Kind of fun.
That's exactly right.
Eventually.
I'm excited to see what you got for me today. And today's my wife's birthday, so I got all kinds of stuff going on.
Well, my goodness. Tell your darling wife, thank you so much for letting us borrow you again for a half hour to tell us your wisdom. We're just going to pick your brain today. So thank you.
Well, awesome. I love it, man. I love it. Yes, I love it. So you got to meet my bride, right? No, yes. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
So cool. No, I have not met your wife yet. I've not met her. We got to get out there to Tennessee and see you. We will. We got on our calendar. We're figuring out when we're going to get there.
Bring those jet skis out here.
Absolutely. So I've got
all right. So throw it at me.
Yes.
What you got today?
I have been working with several clients that have inherited money, and it's the situation where mom and dad left them money, and a lot, like $300,000. They've never had money before. And they are absolutely scared stiff that if they do anything, if they put the money in, quote, the market, that they're going to lose it because the market and the Fed funds and the newspaper feeds and the sky is falling. And they're like really paralyzed on what to do with that money. And I'm telling them, you don't want to bury it in the backyard or just put it in your drawer, or stick it in your, your regular bank savings account that's earning next to nothing. There are other really straightforward options, but these are the two that I'm specifically thinking about. The people that inherited the money are in their mid 60s. And it's not, it's a lot of money when it's all you have, $300,000 or $400,000, but they're really afraid to do anything. And so they literally have this analysis paralysis and they can't move. And I told them to listen to the show, that we would help them figure out what are some thoughts and then why to actually invest the money and talk about the fiduciary part of it and everything.
Oh, I love that big word there. You come out
Fiduciary
firing today.
Well, and I had promised our listeners that we will by the end of the show help them understand what's the difference between a fiduciary and a non-fiduciary financial planner, because there's a big difference.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go. We'll do that one too. Yeah, look, Gary, here's the thing. I couldn't blame anybody for being that way. After all, it's just the world we're in today, right? It's man, you just turn the TV on and you just don't hear a lot of good news. And I like how'd you say that? Analysis paralysis or whatever that big fancy word was.
That was it.
Yeah. That's what's happening. And people they don't know what to do, and therefore they do nothing at all. So the right thing to do is if you're gonna get into the market, and of course that's making a good large assumption too. The good news is you don't have to go in the market. There's others, there's other stuff out there you can get into that you don't have to go market. But if we met with you, we decided from a fiduciary 2 minutes, the best thing to do was go into the market, and we went into the market with you, we would put some stop losses in place. We might even do kind of like a straddle. We might even buy a put and buy a call. That way, no matter which way the direction the market goes, we're going to have you covered. And then we're going to have a stop loss set so that there is a place there that goes, bam, stop, you're out, and it stops your loss. Okay. So that's one reason that you really want to work with an aggressive 1 minute advisor firm like we are. We are not passive. So we don't just sit back and kick back on our heels and just let things happen. We, with a purpose, with an intent, we go at it and we do what's best for the client.
Okay. Now so that makes a lot of sense. And I know part of what we're talking about, especially with being a fiduciary like you are, is you're making the determination, meeting with a client, figuring out what is the best way to go for them. Because as a fiduciary, if they want to do something completely crazy, you're saying, hey, I'm a fiduciary. I am obligated under my ethical code to do what is best for you. We're going to talk more about that. You're listening to The Word on Wealth with Anthony Wright and Gary Quackenbush. Anthony's number is 931-RETIRED, 931-RETIRED. Do not touch that dial. We're going to come back and talk about stop losses and protecting your investments.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We're here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
You're saving and investing for the future, and that's good. Have you ever stopped to think, where does my money actually go? This is Faith-Based Investing with Anthony Wright.
Most Christians just don't understand that the money they save for retirement usually helps fund the abortion industry and other liberal anti-family causes. But did you know that with just a few minutes of your time, we can screen and clean your investments at no cost to you? It's absolutely complimentary. Just go to the website right now, download a free copy of my book, Faith-Based Investing. It's free as well. You deserve to know the truth as the investor. Then the choice is yours. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can line up your investments and life savings with your beliefs. We are fiduciary investment advisors. You can feel good about investing with confidence. So learn more now. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com or call me at 931-RETIRED. Your free book is waiting for you. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com and be sure that you listen to Faith-Based Investing this weekend right here on Family Talk.
Gary, your team at GQ Law are experts at solving IRS and state tax problems. Talk about that.
When people have a tax problem, it tends to really stress them out. And one of the things we've been able to do is figure out how to resolve tax problems. One thing we might be doing is setting up a payment plan or getting a collection delay, maybe getting a determination that the person shouldn't have to pay the taxes at all. We do offers and compromise. We do audit reconsiderations. And one of the things that's a really powerful tool that some people don't recognize is sometimes bankruptcy can be used to actually eliminate taxes when there's certain conditions of the code that are met. So we can do all kinds of things. After we analyze your situation, we can figure out what's available, discuss your options, and figure out which ones to implement, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. And we can get people out from under all kinds of tax problems so they can sleep again. That's our goal.
Request your free initial consultation. GQLaw.com, 855-500-TRUST, GQLaw.com.
Who will you trust with the biggest financial decision of your lifetime? If you're planning to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, do what I do and work with the true San Diego real estate experts. Ken Pecos and the Pecos Group helped me and my family. They can help you. This is Gary Quackenbush of The Word on Wealth. You hear Ken every week here on The Word on Wealth. He's our expert. He's got integrity, exceptional service, deep knowledge of the San Diego, Coronado, and South Bay regions. These are just some of the reasons that Ken Pecos has completed hundreds of transactions. He manages a powerful team of professionals at the Pecos Group. From single-family attached homes to luxury high-value waterfront properties to apartment buildings, Ken Pecos is ready to help you avoid problems and costly mistakes. Learn more online at kenpecos.com. That's Ken Pecos, Pecus.com. Or call 619-977-8419.
DRE number 010566969, brokered by eXp Realty.
It's end of summer project savings time at Dixie Line.
Expand your outdoor living space with beautiful, colorful, sustainable composite or capped PVC decks from Trex, AZEK, TimberTech, or Fibron. Get a $200 Dixie Line gift card with purchase of $3,000 or more.
And when you add $2,000 or more in deck railing to your composite or capped PVC decking order, you'll get an additional $150 Dixie Line gift card.
Is it time for a new color of paint, inside or out? With paint, the options are unlimited. Save 10% on all Valspar interior and exterior quart gallon or 5-gallon paint in stock. Dixie Line will custom tint your paint too.
Thinking about investing in new windows? Did you know Milgard windows are warranted for a lifetime, including glass breakage? Bring your measurements for a free quote and hear from the experts at the Milgard Retrofit Seminar, September 30th at Dixie Line in Escondido. Dixie Line, fix it, build it, and enjoy it.
You're not alone. Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's GQLaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
We are here with Anthony Wright, a financial fiduciary and friend of the family. That's a lot of F's. I'm glad.
Hey, that's the only F's accepted.
Exactly. This is Bible safe radio too, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Christian-based radio, Christian-based investing. It's funny on that. I had somebody, you guys, and I know you guys know Anthony. He's been on with me for a long time. I mean, since I started the show. So he's become a friend of mine. Not just because of the show, but we've, become personal friends and we're in business with some things together. I've got him managing a lot of my retirement portfolio. So I have this ultimate trust in this guy. And if I didn't, he wouldn't, I wouldn't say all those nice things. Anthony does a great job.
Very kind. Very kind.
Well, I just appreciate what you're doing. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate you.
When Anthony and I did a seminar, it was very interesting. I had somebody approach me because we talk about, faith-based investing and Bible safe investing, and how the whole concept is that the money that you're putting in the market, just like I used to teach my Boy Scouts, when you own stock, you own a company. And if it's a company that you own, you want that company to behave in a way that would make you proud or not embarrass the heck out of you, right? So you wouldn't, if like, for example, okay. So I had somebody come into me years ago, and he wanted to do like an LLC, and he was talking about this. And he was very smug about what he did. So I tell me about your business. He says, yeah, well, I have a photography business. And he kept going on, and he was acting really smug, and he's starting to tell me how much money this guy was making. And he wanted to, and I said, what exactly are you doing with the pictures? And he had a lot of money. I mean, bags of money. And he said, well, it's a picture. And I said, is it a dirty picture website? And he said, well, if you don't feel right about it, I said, I don't, and I want you to leave my office.
Whoa.
But he was doing, like, when he first started, he was doing like $5,500 a week when he just opened it. And he thought it was really funny that when you have these dirty picture websites, that you steal all the dirty pictures from the other websites, because they're all operating illegally. And so they all steal each other. And it just, like, it made me sick. And I went, I just need you to leave. I'm not going to be your attorney. I don't care. You can't pay me enough. I don't feel right about representing somebody that's that trashy. And so terrible. It's like, I don't want to be the attorney helping participate in that. And he was like, well, it's not really me. It's just, I have my teamwork. And I said, it's the same thing. And to me, it's like with investing, it's the same thing. If I invest in a company and find out that part of what that company is doing to make money is they're involved in something that's wrong, morally wrong, maybe legal, but morally wrong, or they support and they're sending a bunch of money to support a cause that I am just really opposed to, then I don't belong in that investment. Because and the thing with Bible safe investing, and this is what Anthony has taught me, is that it's where your money is. That's what you're actually supporting. Would you actually go out and give money to the cause that this company that you're investing in is supporting? And if it would be like, no way, I wouldn't be caught dead doing that, then why on earth would you put money in a company that is actually going out and supporting those causes? So and that was my thing, is like, somebody was saying, gosh, don't get, Christianity and religion involved in investments. I said, that's my world. That's my life. That's what I believe. I support. I mean, at the end of the day, when I'm dead and I have to, kind of answer for what I did for my life, and, and say what went well and what didn't, I certainly don't want to be like, I made a bunch of money on a company that trashed Christianity and was horrible morally. It's just like, I think I probably would get selected to the wrong kingdom. Anyway, so that being said, that's where Anthony and I come from. That's where we talk about this. Anthony's had the privilege of being a minister and having a ministry, and now is, helping people to invest in the right way, which is, I just think is super cool. Okay. Anyway, I like talking about you. I'm sorry. So what we're going to do,
I appreciate that very much.
What I wanted to ask, because we're talking about, people that have analysis paralysis, just literally, they inherit $300,000 or $400,000, a couple of cases like that. And they don't want to put it anywhere because they're going to lose it. They just know they are. And so we talk about doing stop losses, which measure, if the stock drops a certain amount, it goes to cash, which means it won't drop anymore. And then you talk about things like straddles and puts and calls. And those are always, since I got my degree in business finance, I've always been fascinated with those terms. And I want to do some kind of investment basics on that. And if you could help our listeners understand a little bit about straddles, puts, and calls, like what are they in basic terms? And then I want to move on to fiduciary.
Yeah. So in basic terms, think of, most people think that you can't make money unless the market's going up. So that is something that's hard to get out of the people's heads, because they're not in the business every day. But when you're in the professionally every day, like we are, there's something called a put, there's something called a straddle. So think of straddling a fence. If you think the market's going to go up and you think the stock's going to go up, you straddle the fence. So you would buy what's called a call. You could also straddle the fence and turn around and buy a put. If it goes up, you make money. If it goes down, you make money. Now, most of the time with straddles, there's not a lot of money made, because either way it moves, you're pretty much going to break even, but it keeps you from losing anything Then it allows you to buy back in and ride the market up. So that's the long and short. That's the basis of it. Now, they also have something called shorting the market. If you think the market's going to go down, you can short the market and you can make money when the market drops. So that is the general basis for what I'm talking about with calls, puts, buying short, selling short. It's those types of things. Now, sometimes when you own a stock, we do something called buy covered calls. And that's where you generate income by selling the right to call that stock. And so that's all the cool things we do. Now, from a fiduciary, what is fiduciary?
Yeah.
Fiduciary simply means we have to do what's in the best interest of the client, and we do what's in the best interest of the client. So if someone was suitable, then they would just do it because it's suitable. It doesn't mean that they're doing it because it's the right thing for you. So kind of think of a dietitian versus a butcher at the store, right? You walk in, you tell the butcher what you want, he cuts it, you walk out the grocery store with it. But you get a fiduciary dietitian, he or she's gonna tell you what it is that you need to eat that's best for you. That's the difference in suitable. Suitable would be the butcher, and fiduciary would be the dietitian.
Okay, interesting. And that makes sense to me in terms of even determining like the kind of the risk reward thing of it also is that if I'm the one that's decided to march in there and buy, something that is really not going to be good for me based on my health and all that stuff, but I'm making that choice, so give me the meat. Whereas if I hire a dietitian, or in your case, a fiduciary, I go, hey, Anthony, I really heard about this thing and I really want to, invest all this money in this new cryptocurrency. I think is just coming out and I think it's going to be good because that's what I looked up on Google. You're probably going to say, Gary, I'm a fiduciary and there's no way I'm doing that. It's not good for you. It's not in your best interest because of your age, because of your risk tolerance. If you lost everything right now at 64 years old, you're not going to be able to recover and retire within a short period of time. If you were 18 and investing $20 and you may lose it, it's like whatever. But yeah, it's okay. So I like that. That's a perfect description. And that's why you guys, that's why we support Anthony, and we're glad that he's, my partner on the show when it's financial day, which we appreciate. His number is 931 retired. The one thing I do want you to do is if you have any of these questions is just call Anthony and his team. They're very responsive, 931 retired. Just remember that number. And if you want to just get started, get his free book, you go to Bible Safe Investing. It's all one polysyllabic word, BibleSafeInvesting.com, and you can get your free book. It's short but super informative, and I love that it's available. And I have my copy, and I printed out several of them, and they're sitting in my lobby for my clients to read while they're waiting for me or to take home with them. Hey, I wanted to get from you a little bit of, I always, when the Fed chairman comes out and says, well, I'm not going to raise rates now, but you can be betting your booty that we're going to be raising rates maybe 1 or 2 or 3. We're going to be doing it in the future. You get kind of, this wording that's going on. What happens with the market when Fed comes out and says, yes, we're raising rates. No, we're not raising rates. Does the market go crazy? Does the real estate market fall apart? What happens? And where are we with that?
All the above. We are at the place where the Fed chairman is saying they're going to have to go up on the interest rate again. They're probably going to go up. They're definitely going up 1/4 of a point. They could go up 1/2 of a point to 3/4 of a point, and they're even floating the idea of another point.
Wow.
Now, that drives the market crazy, and that's how they cool things down. That's how they hit the brakes, if you would, and slow down the economy, slow down inflation as they go in there and they raise interest rates. Now, some people remember back in the late 70s, early 80s under Jimmy Carter, interest rates went to 21%. Mm-hmm. So we got a long way to go.
2 minutes.
1%. But just know and don't freak out and panic that right now, if you're at 8 or 9, remember there was a day we were at 21. People made it under 21. They'll make it under 8 or 9. Stay positive. Stay upbeat. Look at the good. Look at the positive.
Well, because isn't the thing with, I mean, it affects the entire market. It's not just like one person. The market, our overall economy has to respond in total. It's not like it's this isolated thing. If inflation is out of control and they drop it by raising rates, the rates go up on everyone. You just have to try to get the right advisors to find the right deals. I mean, that's the way I've always looked at it. And I think that's, one of the differences too between, not only suitability versus fiduciary, but active versus passive. And most of our financial advisors, I know with me, I mean, I've been working with a financial advisor that wants an annual review with me. And my thing is like, what did you say? Annually? That's 12 months, and then I get with you and it's like, Anthony, you've already texted me twice today. Yes, I want that.
That's right.
It's funny. And I go, I mean, because with active, I was thinking, okay, instead of like twice a year, maybe it's going to be like once a month, but not with Anthony. You guys are all over it. I love it. It's like you love what you're doing and your whole team.
I do love what I'm doing, and I love good clients like you and good friends like you, pal. Thanks for all you do for me. You guys have a good evening. Give my love to your bride.
All right. Happy birthday to your wife. Take care, Anthony.
Thanks, buddy.
You very much.
See
all
ya.
Right, you bet. All right,
Bye-bye.
Guys, that was Anthony Wright, 931 retired. Always with us on Thursdays. It's just so good to have him along. If you want to listen to the show again, of course, we are on podcasts. We'll be right back.
You've got questions. We've got answers. This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary's here to give you peace of mind with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary to build, protect, and transfer your wealth. 855-500-TRUST. GQlaw.com. Of GQ Law. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQlaw.com.
Yeah, this is the Word on Wealth. You betcha. Thanks for being a fan of the show. Thursdays are Money Day where we talk about wealth, and we did with Anthony Wright. I'm recommending that you go to his website, and this doesn't tie you into anything. all of us that put together books, short books like the 3 that I have on my website that are very popular. Anthony has one called Faith-Based Investing, and it helps understand the concept. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter whether you are faith-based or whether you are Christian or believe in any religion. If you believe that there's right and wrong in society and that we need to live within some social norms where there's right and wrong defined so that we can have organization and productive society, then the concept is the same. It's basically that the money that you're in, the companies that you own as a shareholder, because you own their stock, the companies that you own don't go out and use your money, your ownership money, to support things that you wouldn't support. And that's a big deal. And it's become a much bigger deal with me as I've been working with Anthony. And and I forgot to ask him today, I'm going to ask him again next week, is what I've talked to him about before is it possible to make money in Bible safe investments? And that's what he does. His people are in what we call faith-based investments, Bible safe investing. So it's family values, it's, personal values, it's moral values, and not making judgment calls or aspersions on, moral values and this and that. But it's like you want ownership of things that you feel are okay. Just because it makes money doesn't mean you should own it. That's what we're finding. You don't have to own the big ones, the huge big companies that are in the news every single day. You don't have to own them if you believe that they're not doing the right things with the money that you've given them as a shareholder. Moving to estate planning. Okay, what we're going to do for the rest of the show, we don't have that much time, is basically I'm going to take your calls at 888-344-1170. And I'm going to answer some questions when you call in, 888-344-1170. I'm not going to sit here and just wait for you to call, but I would love to hear from you so I know what your questions are. I have so many of you coming in to see me to set up estate plans, to help get distributions from estate plans, to settle parents' estates. A couple of them are the uncle's estate or the grandpa's estate. And those are things that we help settle. We coach the successor trustee and the guardians and whoever the people are that need coaching. We help them get through legally through the process of distributing the assets in the trust and making sure that the proper government entities are notified as required by law. We're not making this stuff up. The law requires as a trustee that you do certain things. And you may not know those certain things. That has nothing to do with it. The law requires certain things to be done as a trustee before you give out the money to the beneficiaries. And even if you don't know what that means, even if you don't know what you're supposed to do, ignorance of the law is not an excuse to get it wrong. It's not. They don't care. We are dealing with defending and prosecuting lawsuits every day where the trustee didn't know what they were doing and lost the money or spent the money or isn't giving out the money or they're being accused of stealing the money. It happens. You guys, money makes families even messier. I think part of that is the reason you need to get an estate plan that is thought out and that will reduce the amount of arguing that will go on after you die. Because when people inherit money, there's just inherently problems because it's money and it never comes fast enough. It's never quite enough. The explanation is because you're new at it. You've never been a successor trustee before, or maybe you've done it once before, or maybe your spouse has done it, but now you're doing it. you have to know what you're doing, but you don't, because you don't know the law. That's why you hire professionals. The California law requires that you, as the fiduciary, which is the successor trustee or the executor, you're acting as a fiduciary. I mean, I'm a fiduciary because I have a license, an attorney's license, and attorneys are legally fiduciaries. Anthony Wright is a fiduciary because he applied and got a license to be a fiduciary. When you serve as the successor trustee of your parents' trust, you are a fiduciary. And there's nothing you can do to change that except say you don't want to be the trustee and then default, to the next person in line. But as a fiduciary, you are held to the same standards. You're held to the same standard. And that's what we want you to make sure you understand is, as a fiduciary, you just got to act right. So that's what we're doing, is teaching people how to be fiduciaries and delegating duties. My office takes a lot of the responsibility on ourselves as we coach you through. Okay. Todd, what'd you say?
Daniel from Golden Hills.
Thank you. All right, Daniel from Golden Hills, welcome to the Word on Wealth. How are you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm fine right now.
Okay.
Anyhow, I have a trust that's out of date. I got to renew it. What I'd like to know is, can I specifically say a successor trustee does not have to have their responsibility for personal property? In other words, I have, as far as I'm concerned, most of what I own, they can throw away, give away. I don't care. I can do it while I'm alive, but can I say the successor trustee to do the same?
Yes, you can. If it's the successor trustee, yeah, you can make distinctions like that. Like if the trustee, if they feel like something should just be thrown away or donated, that's up to them. That's pretty much what they're going to be deciding, because it's not going to affect the estate. If it's something that's of such little value that selling it would cost more in time and energy and resources than it would be bring in on a sale.
Well,
yeah.
Well, actually, there's probably quite a bit in the way of, I'm kind of a black sheep. I'm a blue collar worker, and nobody else in my family knows anything about the blue collar world. So, and also, as far as I'm concerned, same thing with the house. They could just call one of these fire services and say, they get whatever you give, and nobody else wants my house, so I don't care. So, can I be saying the successor trustee can feel the same way? Do the same thing.
Okay. So, and then your question is whether or not you could authorize the trustee to do that. Yeah. So one of the things that what we try to put in, the answer is going to be yes. If that's the way you want to do it, you can relieve the trustee. The trustee still has to act as a fiduciary. They're in that capacity. But if there are instructions from you that you're not terribly concerned with dollars and with dollar values going to your beneficiaries, that can be put into the trust so that at least we see your impression built into the trust, typically under the California law, where we list what powers and authority the trustee has. We'll put in things like, if it's in the best interest of the estate or of the trust or the beneficiaries to dispose of property, even at a loss, that's okay, because we're trying to get the estate wrapped up and closed and the bills and stuff like that paid. So the trustee has some discretion on that. And if you wanted to put things, I've had clients that wanted to put that in there, like personal property or of no concern. If the trustee doesn't want to give it away, just donate it rather than give it to the beneficiaries.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Daniel, thank you for calling into the Word on Wealth. Okay, good question. And if you have, we still have lines open. If you want to give me a call, it's 888-344-1170. If you have questions specifically that you'd like me to answer directly and off air, you can get some time to talk with me at 855-500-TRUST. That's my number, 855-500-TRUST. You can get on my calendar and we can talk about your situation specifically. The difference between yes, I wanted to go over, let's talk about the house. The this comes up a lot, is sometimes with the house is you've got the situation where there's a mortgage on the house, big loan, and you're trying to figure out what to do. One of the beneficiaries says, hey, I want to buy that house, but it's a $600,000 house with a $300,000 mortgage on it. And it doesn't matter what kind of mortgage, reverse mortgage, regular mortgage, whatever. What has to happen? Well, we know that that mortgage is going to have to be paid. It is not okay in California legally. You can't inherit a mortgage. You can't assume it. You have to refinance it. So you run into the situation where if there's a loan on the property, it's going to have to be paid off somehow. So that makes it a little bit more difficult if a beneficiary wants to buy. But there you go. So we are going to be back in just a second on the Word on Wealth, and I'm going to continue to talk. I've got some questions about conservatorships I want to answer for you.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We are here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Gary, how do you and your team help our listeners avoid probate?
Well, first of all, probate is a process that involves attorneys, judges, and sometimes contesting parties. And so we try to avoid probate at pretty much all costs. The way we do that is setting up living trusts, setting up properly documented wills, putting the property like houses, cars, bank accounts in that trust so that it avoids probate. Probate is only necessary if the estate plan isn't set up quite right. So we help them get it set up right. And mainly that's done through a properly created living trust.
Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free initial consultation. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
You've all
Consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Conservatorship. What is the difference between a power of attorney and a conservatorship? And can one avoid the other? The situation in where you would need a conservatorship is the situation where you don't have a power of attorney. You have a person that's incapacitated, which means they don't have the mental ability to make legally binding decisions. They can't tell you which bills that need to be paid. They can't tell you where they are. I mean, it makes it so that typically if somebody is that incapacitated, there will have been a determination by one of their treating physicians or two saying that they believe that the mental capacity is reduced enough where they're not capable of making financial decisions. And that doesn't mean that they're just sitting there staring out into the, outside. It doesn't mean that. Just there are some times when you don't have the ability any longer to make financial decisions. I had a situation where the husband got sick and he got cancer and it involved his head. and it made it so that he was very sick, and it also affected his brain. He was still a nice guy. It just, he had no idea what was going on. He couldn't make decisions. So he was deemed incapacitated. His wife needed to get some money, and there was a requirement, the way she was having to get it, there was a requirement that both husband and wife sign documentation. But he can't sign, he's incapacitated. But the lender was still saying, if you're going to borrow this money or do this refinance, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had to do with loans on the house. If you're going to do that, we need your husband's signature because he is alive. And because he was incapacitated, they said, well, we still need his signature. The only way to get a signature of a person that is incapacitated is, one, you can have their durable power of attorney. Two is you would have a conservatorship over them. Now, obviously, it's a lot less expensive and a lot less hassle to have a durable power of attorney, because that means that during incapacity, that's what durable means. The power of attorney is durable. It will last during incapacity. The durable power of attorney makes it so that during incapacity, you can make the financial decisions that are listed in the document. If you don't have that, and some people don't, if you don't have that, then you're going to have to get a conservatorship over your spouse or whoever it is that you're trying to help them with their money. And a conservatorship is a difficult process. We do lots of them. We feel like we're good at it. It's expensive and it's slow, because when you apply for a conservatorship, it is a petition in the probate court, and you're asking the judge to give you authority over a person's finances or over the person's physical. And it can be both. And before the judge will make any ruling, there is a court-appointed attorney assigned to the person so that they can make an evaluation to determine whether they actually need a conservator and if they're okay with that or not, and whether they can communicate. So that's going to be an appointed attorney paid for by the government. Also, they're going to assign a social worker, a caseworker, and that caseworker is going to interview the conservatee and go to the home, talk to the family, and determine whether the people or person that's requesting to be the conservator, whether they are kind of worthy to do it, whether they, what their living conditions are like, who are they, why are they trying to do this? And both of them will make recommendations. You can also get, there's going to be physicians that will make a determination of incapacity. So there's a bunch of documents that have to be perfect. And the hearings last, the whole process lasts from anywhere like 4 to 6 months. We've had them go a lot longer just from unfortunate situations where there's something that's messed up, or the title is wrong, or, got wrong information, or there's now another asset, or somebody comes in and objects because they say no. There's a lot of different things that happen to make a conservatorship go slowly and to go wrong. So it is much better to have a power of attorney, and I like limited durable power of attorneys, not unlimited. Okay. Then what about the difference between a guardianship and a power of attorney? Guardianship is a minor, somebody that's under 18. Conservatorship is somebody that's 18 or above. So power of attorney can be given to by a person that's over 18. Okay, that power of attorney would make it so you didn't need a conservatorship later. A power of attorney cannot be granted by somebody that would require a guardianship, because that means they're under 18. And the client, the person that's under 18, is not going to be able to give legally binding consent or legally binding forms, which would be a power of attorney. Okay. So part of your estate plan is going to consist of a limited durable power of attorney, and it's going to be based on exactly what you need, not like your future. We're going to give you all these powers. I like limited ones. We determine why there would be the need for one, and then we put together a power of attorney. If your property is in a living trust, let's say in the situation where we have a conservatorship situation where wife is going to court to get a conservatorship over husband because husband left some money outside the trust and now she's having to do that. Okay, what would be a better solution would be if the trusts were properly funded. So that would mean that their bank accounts were in the trust, their retirement accounts were in the trust, their stock were in the trust. It would make it so that if the retirement account beneficiary designation could be in the trust, or there could be an arrangement where the beneficiary of the retirement account gets their money through the trust. There are different ways to do it, but the idea, concept, the principle is if it's controlled by the living trust, that means it's controlled by the trustee who runs the living trust, right? The successor trustee. And the successor trustee has a lot more access to records rather than, they have access to all the records. So if it's in the trust, we're not having to go to court or to get some determination or file some documents. We're going to the trust and seeing what is in there. And if it's in the trust, we look at the instructions, and the instructions will say, take care of the two creators of the trust until they've passed away, and then take care of, whoever's next, children, grandchildren, however that works. But that's the whole thing with a living trust. It's if it's done right and properly funded, because your house is in there, your business is in there, you've converted your business, maybe you change it to an LLC or a corporation. We move those into the living trust. If you've got timeshares, vehicles, bank accounts, my opinion is put all of that in the trust as much as you can. Some of it's a pain to move a car in with the DMV. It's kind of a pain, but if your cars are worth much money, you want everything to be controlled by the trustee, okay, rather than having to get a power of attorney or a conservator. So that's my recommendation. Trust, fully funded. Put your money in there. That way your trustee has the charge of it. Okay. Next thing, I want to jump back on mortgages again. And what happens with a conventional mortgage? We know when somebody's dies, they're required by law to notify all creditors that they passed away and that they have the right, that the creditors have the right to file a claim against the estate. And some of them do and some of them don't, but we also give them a deadline. So the mortgage company comes in, they want the money, they're going to get paid. If it's an interest-only mortgage, it's the same thing. Interest-only mortgage just means there's no payment there is a payment, but it's only the interest. So the mortgage, whatever that number was, it's going to stay the same forever because you're just paying the interest. You're paying the growth. And then even if you have a reverse mortgage, so we talk about them, we'll be talking about them more. In fact, we've got Shane Sletter, who's a reverse mortgage expert, and he joined our team. I'm so excited because on Tuesday, he's going to be with us in kind of the pre-premiere show. That's going to be on Tuesday at 2:00. So Shane will be on with us, and I got some questions about reverse mortgages. So part of the thing with the reverse mortgage is when you pass away, the reverse mortgage gets paid. That's part of the deal. That's part of the contract. It doesn't mean they take the house, they take all the property. They simply need to get paid, and there's going to be the mortgage plus interest, and they will work with the survivors trying to work through the trust and figuring out how it's all going to work and how everything gets distributed, but they will work with you. Okay. I want to let you know. So let's see, tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow we've got Finding Joy Friday. It's going to be a fun day. The lines are going to be open. We're going to be talking about getting through tough times with the market like it is and the things that are going wild. We're going to have open lines. That's going to be tomorrow on Finding Joy Friday. I was really happy to have you along today. And we got just a tiny bit left in the show. I just wanted you guys to all remember that Anthony Wright is your financial guy. If you have any questions regarding money, finance, where to invest that money you just inherited, how to spend your IRA, when should you take it out? It's 931 retired, 931 retired. And you can meet Anthony's team. Go on to his website, BibleSafeInvesting.com. Super easy way to get into that. And remember, next week, we've got a big show. Tax Monday, Mortgages Tuesday, Real Estate Wednesday, Money Thursday, and Finding Joy Friday again coming up next week. Thanks for being part of the show. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. here on the Word on Wealth. Goodbye, everybody. Have a really good afternoon. Thanks for being along. Have a good afternoon, and we'll take care. Talk to you tomorrow.
Tell a friend about the Word on Wealth, featured since 1995. With financial solutions attorney Gary Quackenbush, an expert in estate planning, wills and trusts, and tax problem solving. Gary is past president of the California Society of Tax Consultants. Reach out to us. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. The information you hear on the Word on Wealth is for general information purposes only. This program discusses general financial and legal topics. Seek legal advice from a competent lawyer for your individual legal needs. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily represent the views of Salem Media Group or its sponsors.
The airing of this program by this station is not an endorsement or recommendation by the station of the products or services